I need some gas strap insulators that don't fall out, come out of the sides. Use some Gorilla Tape. It's just about the perfect width, and it goes on really easy, and it isolates the fuel tank from the metal straps. Hopefully for a nice squeak-free ride. New J-hooks from Summit Racing for Mopar 67 through 72 A-body. Good morning and happy Easter, everyone. It's Saturday morning and we've got parts in, and I think we're going to make a lot more headway again today. So just to let everybody know, the EFI tank came in. I've got it all built up. You've seen videos of me putting those things together. Wasn't going to bore everybody with that, but it's all dressed out. I got wires terminated. May have to make a few changes. Only changes I'll have to make or additions is a common ground, but got our Deutsch connector set up, coming from the terminator to turn on our fuel pump right here. This comes from, again, that terminator. And then we've got our wire on the all-American wiring harness. This goes to our gas gauge. Once we get this on, then up front, that will go to the bus bar, the box for the Dakota Digital. And then, of course, we've got our grounds right here and the fuel setting unit ground. And then, of course, we've got our hoses that are going to need to come up through here. One goes up to the old factory vent. This is the factory fuel neck right here. And then we're going to have another one that's going to be a little shuttle valve, rollover valve that keeps it from dumping gas if it ever turns over. Heaven forbid. Our new straps are on, and you saw earlier, I didn't have the isolators that keep it from squeaking, but I used Gorilla Glue tape. We're going to see how well this works. And then, of course, I had to get some new J-hooks. The old ones were misplaced when I had converted over to a fuel cell. So, that's about it. We are about to get this thing in and slowly start getting it synced up. And who knows? We may be firing up that Hemi today. Be my Hemi Cuda Blake's muscle car style. So let's get going. All right, this is the part that's probably going to involve a lot of cussing, and I'm going to leave that off so we don't get that on the camera. But these little hangers, they beg to fall out at the most inopportune time. But I've got my vent and my rollover both now crossed up through the gasket. Now, if you're doing a Mopar, this is where it's kind of a pain, like on your chargers, your second gen chargers. They're a real pain sometimes trying to get this gasket to seat up against the neck. Sometimes they'll slide right in, not a problem. Other times they will fight you till the death. So this is similar. It's not near as, I'm going to say that. We did a dart, our friend Kevin Ruby's dart, and it went right on in. But I've greased it. I have grease on the filler neck. So this is a brand new gasket that I bought. You always want to put a new gasket. If you got the old original, it's probably dry rotted and cracked. It's going to leak. So don't do that. You're here, replace this stuff. So now, let's let the cussing begin and let's start getting close. First fail is this isn't anywhere near lining up with the gas tank, with the inlet really. So I'm going to take it loose up about a quarter panel, kind of like I did on the Charger, and see if I can make this flexible where I can move it around. And so because it is not anywhere near fighting this and that big grommet. We're fighting everything, so we're gonna have to let it down. Okay, now it's all right. Now I can move this around. Yeah, I can move this around. So I'm gonna just leave it in here like this. Probably drop it down. Yeah. I'm gonna drop this thing down. get my hoses. The hoses may, once I get this started, then maybe I can stuff them through here. Oh yeah. Okay, let's try it again. So naturally, when they make aftermarket grommets and everything, make way too tight. So I put my filler neck on the wire wheel, tried to clean this thing up as much as possible. I'm gonna grease it, and I'm gonna see how it slides on just for fighting it with the gas tank under there. These Mopars, this is one of the pain in the rears on a Mopar is putting the damn gas tank in them when they have these filler necks. It's just, it is what it is. Just, I know people in the comments are going to say, wow, I did it in like 3 minutes. I'm sure those that are going to comment tell me how much better they are at this. I wish you were here for those that do. All right, now much better. All right, let's try this again. All right, Mopar people, something just dawned on me. Again, it's been a minute, but I don't know why y'all didn't say anything. I think what you're supposed to do, if I remember correctly now, after doing my charger and Johnny's charger, I think you got to put this in from the outside of the car, and then you slide it back up in there. I think I got to make sure that filler neck will make it through that slot. But now that it's coming back to me, let's see if this will work. All right, got our gasket back on, filler neck back in place to the flip top gas lid over there. Again, these things, Mopars, can't blame it too much on the Mopar. It's a gasket. Even putting that filler neck in from the outside of the car, greasing it, and putting a wire wheel to the filler neck, it's too tight. And we got it in there. It took both of us, and it barely went in. But again, just let everybody know, fighting this thing. I remember when I did my charger, it was the same way. So they make those gaskets probably in China, and they make them too tight. But one good thing about it is I don't think it's going to leak one bit because it is tight. So now let's get back under the car and let's start wiring and plumbing. Okay. All right, that time has come. After wrestling the damn gas tank for a while, we got it plumbed, we got it wired. I'll probably go back and clean up a lot of wiring, but I'm doing something that against what I usually tell everybody and what I try to tell myself is don't get in a rush. But you know, guys, y'all know how you are. You just want to hear it run, maybe just for a couple seconds. So we're going to put some gas in it now, hook the battery up, and we're going to check for leaks. And you know it's going to leak. You know it's going to be leaking like a sieve. But we're going to see what happens here. Let's go. All right, let's take a bet on how many leaks we think you're going to have. I'm going to bet that there's probably some leaks right around the engine, and then where the hardest place is to get to them over by the headers where they come down from the regulator. So let's see how many leaks we got. Hey, I don't hear the pump. But okay, after a WWE round with the gas tank and the pump, we heard the pump come on. So now let's look at how many leaks we have. All right, now fuel pump comes on. So the fuel pump's coming on. I don't want to bust this thing off yet. And if I do, we try to start it and it busts off, I'm gonna bust it off and then kill it because I don't have really a long enough exhaust tube where the O2 sensor is. Number two, I want to make sure we've got some transmission fluid in it. The converter did have fluid in it. When we were just turning over by hand, it was pushing fluid out the lines, but this is a very expensive transmission. So let's get a little bit of fluid in it. just in case. You don't know what's going to happen on this thing. Again, if I bust it off, it's just for a second or two. That's it. But I'm going to keep this thing handy. Trish knows, pull the pin and spray at the base of the fire. Everybody knows what to do. I got this at O'Reilly's, and let me put the pin back in here. Say I do, but yeah, here it is. We don't know what's going to happen, guys, so better be safe than sorry. This is the first time we haven't done anything off camera, just like everything else. It's probably going to be a dud, but let's just see what happens. Trish checked the motor oil, and I put 3 quarts just to be safe, making sure nothing's dry, but it probably needs more, but we've got enough in it to safely just bust it off. I don't know if it's going to bust off or not. Let's just find out. Of course not. Well, that was a dud, but let's see why it's not turning on, why it won't bust off. Let me get my Terminator wiring harness and check it out. All right, so I put my hooked my handheld back up, and I know why it would just barely do anything. Go ahead and turn the key on, honey. We got 19 pounds of fuel pressure. That ain't gonna cut it. So we got to figure out what's going on. Why is my fuel pump? I don't think it's probably something that dumb Darren did. So let's see if we can find out. Let's go back to the back, trace this thing again. So dumb me, I forgot, got the regulator here. I haven't touched the regulator as far as adjusting it. It is new from Holley, but I thought that they were preset. But let's see if this makes any difference. All right, now let's go turn the key on. So here's what I did. I took my channel locks and I just squeezed the return where it goes to the regulator, squeezed it down so it couldn't hardly flow, build pressure up. Had Trish turn the key, busted right off. Oh, it sounded awesome too. So now we got to figure out, do I have the wrong regulator? I have ordered an EFI regulator, but is this for a carburetor? So now I need to look at that. Well, guess what? Dum-Dum here had the towel over this. Something's missing there, isn't it? Damn idiot. So yeah, had a towel trying to clean everything up. Well, there you go. Yeah. 19 pounds, which he's cranking, it's doing 25. So, what a dumbass move. I did not have this plumbed correctly. For some reason, I thought that the return could be here, but I think it obviously says in on both sides, and this side says out. I wasn't paying any attention. You can tell I am a novice at this. So this is going to be remounted somewhere, but now we've got our 54, 58. I can now adjust it. It's where it needs to be. So now let's see what it does. We get ready to start it. All right, she's alive. I do have a leak down there somewhere, but that's okay. Not sure where it's coming from, but we'll find it. Oh, man. Does that ever feel good? Milestone City. Whew. All right. Let's let poor Trish get out of the car and let's do some final thoughts on this. Getting this fuel system going. That's going to wrap it up for today. Would you believe it took us longer to get this darn fuel tank in and the fuel system fixed than it did to put the whole Hemi and the Hemi-Denny front suspension in? I mean, yeah. Some of you guys out there, y'all probably wouldn't have the same problem, but it's in. You saw the idiot mistakes I made. That's why I try to share with everybody. With the regulator, what a dummy. But we got it figured out. Just need to remount it. We've got one transmission, actually 2 lines that are leaking transmission fluid. There's a little small puddle over there, but we'll get that fixed. Guys, gals, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a milestone. Somebody's going to celebrate. Once we got fuel pressure figured out, it fired right up. Did everything it's supposed to do. Aaron programmed it when he had it on the dyno. Super happy about that Hemi. So, yeah, tomorrow we're going to be back out here. Probably hook the gas gauge up now to the Dakota Digital. I may fire it up again so I can see what the oil pressure and I'll see if it's talking to the terminator on a lot of this stuff. Let's see. And, of course, Trish and I have the shifter we've got to put in this thing. If you notice, we have the seat in it because we got to relocate the new shifter. And I'm pretty excited about the new shifter. Some of you may like it, some of you may not. Now remember, it's a street car. It is not a race car. It's a cruiser. So anyway, if you hadn't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that damn like button for me, please. And happy Easter, everybody. Thanks for joining. Y'all have a great day.